Alright guys, I'm back with part 2 of our Ford GT40 that we are rebuilding. So, hope y'all enjoyed the very first one. Kind of recording all these and might be the same night, I don't know. It's getting a little late, but we're going to at least get this part done. So, part 2 here, we are going to be doing the engine work this time. So, let's get into it. Okay, so we are back in our garage, and gonna do a couple of extra things. This is gonna be a little bit unique. This car doesn't exactly have a hood, so this is a whole front camshell. We're just gonna have to take that off. We're gonna have to be able to get to a couple of pieces here, and we're also gonna need to remove the rear camshell to get to the motor. Most traditional cars have a hood and trunk, so on and so forth. So anyhow, we'll worry about the rest of the body later on. We'll just leave it off. So we'll go ahead and just start here on the front. Go ahead and get these parts out of the way. And I don't know if I can. Oh, I can clip from here. Very nice. All right, well, good. We can zoom to it. It zoomed a little fast into it, but that's okay. So as you can see, we got some missing parts here, like these air trumpets. I wanted to call them air horns for a second. So we're missing a few of them. That's something we're going to have to keep into mind. But for the most part, this motor is complete, from what I can see. This is actually my first glance at this motor. I don't know if I've ever even rebuilt a GT40 yet. I probably have worked on a few. But, so yeah. A whole lot of little pieces to tear off this old girl. So we're just gonna keep twisting bolts until we get it all tore apart. We're gonna, actually that's right. I remember what we was gonna do. I'm kind of used to working on other cars at times. Let's grab our little engine crane here. We're gonna throw that in front of the wrong end of the car. Something that they need to work out in this game, but I doubt they ever will. But anyhow, it still does the job, so we are going to pull out the motor. So by doing that, no engine. Still got our battery in there, but that's cool. And then what we do is we come over to our engine stand and add engine to crate. This just makes it a lot easier to work on. We can turn it, which you'll see me do here in a little bit. Right now, so I don't keep running over this thing, we're going to put it back where it belongs. Typically I'd leave it out. Most of the time I rebuild my vehicles in that very far left over here, but for sake of easiness we're doing it over here today. So anyhow, back at it. Sorry about that. I forgot that's how I did that. Oh, we only have one clip. Maybe I took the other clip off. I know that I need two for that anyways. So I know that this all three of these parts might be kind of boring. Third part might be a little bit more interesting due to, you know, getting some body work done and some paint and, you know, all that stuff. But I know this can be a little bit boring, and I apologize for that, but that's just the nature of the beast. But I do hope that you are enjoying what you're seeing. For those that haven't never seen this game before, it does go into quite a bit of detail, in case you can't tell, in case you haven't noticed. It's pretty time consuming. It isn't too horrible. We should have this built here in no time. The worst of it is collecting the parts that we're missing. And we'll just go through everything in the warehouse. And I'm going to continue doing it the way I'm doing it right now, with grabbing the parts that I need. But my curiosity for you, and you're more than welcome to leave this in the comments, or you should be able to private message me as well. But my question for you is on the warehouse and on the buying the parts. I know sitting there looking at my warehouse may or may not be what you want to see, and I get that. So my question is, would you rather me skip over those times when I'm in and out of the warehouse or the parts center buying the parts, or would you want to see that as well? Because it doesn't matter to me either way. I'd rather show you the whole aspect of the game, but you know, I don't want to bore everybody to death with, you know, trying to stare at parts in a warehouse or in the menu. I don't know why I'm doing it this way. Focus a little bit better. Oops. So it's just a curiosity thing. As far as the vehicle builds that I will do, will be more toward vehicles that I buy, build, and normally sell. I do have 3 that I have kept. I have a Mach 1 Mustang. It was my first build, so I kept it just because I built it, you know. And I thought it was a cool car. I'm a big fan of Mustangs. And I built a what looks like the Cobra Shelbys, you know, the HD Cobras. My dad was a big fan of those, so I kept that for him. And actually been wanting to change the paint scheme on it, give it that that blue and white, you know, with the white stripes. Right now it's just solid blue. I'm not sure why I didn't put the white stripe on it to begin with. I don't know if it was only paint scheme I could pick that made sense, or what the deal was on that. But it's on my to-do list. I just haven't done it yet. And then the third one I kept was a what looked like a fastback Mustang, and my mother's always wanted a fastback Mustang. Let's see. Oh, that was that way. There we go. So I kept that for her. And then I also did have that Bronco that I was in the process of working on. And at the time, I have now learned better since then. But I initially thought that I was going to have to get all the parts basically via junkyard because it was a mod. I found out later on that I could have bought all the parts I wanted in the store under import goods. When I saw import goods, I was thinking import style vehicles, Honda, Toyota, that sort of stuff. So I learned a little something on that. But at the same time, I mean, I would have kept that truck, but with it, the mod being broke right now due to an update, I guess it is what it is. You know, I spent money on that thing. I put all the hot rod parts on it. I put all the cool stuff on it. So let's back away from there a little bit. I'm gonna pull all these out. And what's nice about doing this here on the engine stand, you can only pull these pistons from the top, but you have to pull the crank from the bottom. Being on the stand, I can do it all right here. So as you can see, it didn't take us no time at all to strip the old motor down. And it is still kind of loaded here. If we went to part mount, there's the parts right there. So, just like before, let's fix up what we can fix, break what's going to break. And also, this is another section if you don't want to see this right here. This right here can be annoying. The repair sounds plus the tink, 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 tink and all the change. And I mean, this is costing money in case you don't know. I mean, that right there is going to cost me $6 to repair it, and then another $5 to repair it. You know, I go through it a little bit quick because, you know, I just want to get them repaired and everything else. As you can see, I repaired the body parts while I was there too. I just repaired it all. I mean, it's all going to go back together eventually. So, we don't need any brakes at all. All we need is engine parts. Hopefully this is a quick load. Engine parts. So, I always sort this here by name. And I just start looking for what I need. So we need an air trumpet. It's obviously going to be in the air horns. I don't know if that's no, those are not rebuildable, so I'm probably not going to have one. Probably have to buy one, but I'm going to double check that I have, whether or not I do have one. Sometimes you get parts. Oh, there we are. Look at that, and it's a quality 3. So as you do things in the game, every once in a while you'll get what they call a case. It will usually have 3 items in it. Sometimes one of those items might be a barn map, and I just use them as I need them. And you get various quality parts. Like this is a quality 3, and I've seen it range, I think, from 1 through 5. So that's one we don't have to buy, and it's an upscale quality, which improves our vehicle overall. So as you can see, this arm was something we couldn't repair. We was able to repair the alternator though. But I want to look, because I'll have upgraded parts. You know, like this here. I don't have that one. It's an i6B. I only have the seats. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I do have some i6Bs as well, but they're not fancy ones. So if it's quality, you know, that I can use, I'll go ahead and use it. It'll help improve the sale of the vehicle, or at least to my understanding it will. So, like we don't have an arm. This is the kind of stuff I was talking about, you know, that y'all might be bored with watching me do. Pick through the parts however I want to pick them out. Another idea of a build that I'm thinking about doing is when I build another vehicle, something like a hot rod, like a muscle car. Not even go through this here. Just buy all, you know, hot rod parts, more or less. Fast stuff, increased horsepower and stuff like that. I did that on one of my cars, maybe 2. So let's see here. I don't think I'm going to have this cam gear. I don't think I'm going to have it, and it doesn't appear I do. See, every once in a while you'll get them, you know, like that. See, I know we don't need one of these cam gears, but I want to see if I have like a higher quality one. I have a collection of them, that is for sure. Didn't realize I had that many of them. Ooh, we're going to definitely need at least a carburetor. It should be somewhere through here. There we go, carburetors. Well, there's one right there. Too bad we didn't have a, you know, higher quality one. That'd been cool. Flip B. We're gonna need one of those. Clip A. And also, you gotta have your mouse right over this box. If you're in between them, like right here, I don't know if you can hear my scroll wheel, but you can't scroll. You know, something I just thought about here. Nope, can't use the arrow keys. I thought maybe I could use my arrow keys and make that a little less painful. Alright, crankshaft, V8 OHV. Most of your parts that you're going to need is going to be a V8 OHV for this motor here, but not all parts. So that's a C, K, there we go. Like I said, I'm just looking for upgradable parts, you know, anything that might be a little bit better. Sadly, we don't have anything that's better other than just fully repaired parts. Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. I tend to build more hot rods, so I use a lot more V8 parts. This is one part that I've never understood why you couldn't repair it, is this pulley. I guess maybe, well no, this wouldn't have a bearing in it because that's a direct bolt on. Don't know. Definitely odd in my opinion, so we'll definitely have to buy one of those. We need an engine head. Don't need a block, that's for sure. Our block is great, but we'll double check. Nope. We got 3 identicals, but no hot rod ones. So we definitely need the block, I mean the head. Let's see here, we're getting into the engine heads now. There's one right there. fuel filter, I doubt I have, but ever so often things like that I might buy a couple of them at a time, sometimes by accident, you know, or I'll buy one then not end up needing it, and I'll throw it in here. As you can tell, it takes a while for me to scroll through this. I have a lot of parts. Hold up. We only had one exhaust manifold here. Now that I think about it. Exhaust manifold B. Oh, back up. And what do you know? We even have one right there. Look at that. So that's one less part we could have to buy. So, no fuel filters. We need a head cover. I probably should just grab the little slider arm over there and scroll through this, but back up. That's the one we need right there. Something you have to watch for is on these heads, if you can read this, engine head cover A, and then this is engine head cover B. So you got one for each side, but the actual heads are interchangeable. Excuse me. As you can tell, I've got a lot of parts that I can't fix, but and right now I'm not, but if I decide that I want to go back to repairing other vehicles, you know, customers' vehicles they bring in, then these parts could be beneficial. But that was the coils. Okay, one thing we did not have on that motor was plug wires. So, and it's something we're gonna need. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at the wires that I have. The sad part is I'm not sure which one it's gonna be, but I don't want to have to come back here again, preferably. So I'm gonna grab this because it's a good quality item and it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. At worst case, I end up putting it right back in here. That's really no big deal. So we have the intake manifold B. A lot of variations of intake manifolds, huh? Oh. I was hoping we had, well, wait a minute, what's this? Look at that. That's an intake manifold B V8 OHVI. It's the exact same thing. So we're going to grab that, put that back in the warehouse, or put that into the warehouse, because that's an upgrade right there. Now, oil filter, I'm sure I'm not going to have, but it never hurts to look, and I didn't have it. Let's check oil pans. It appears we didn't have any to start with, which is okay. Piston rings and piston with conrods I do not have, I know for sure. So we are definitely going to sneak on by that because I have a lot of those. And honestly, I should sell them. The junk ones that I have. So let's see, power steering pump V8. And we got a handful of them, but I don't see a hot rod version. Same thing with the radiators. Fan housing B. Oh, say there's an upgrade right there. And then fan housing 1 and 2. Rocker arms I know I'm not going to have. Rod caps definitely I have. I don't have any upgraded ones, but I definitely have rod caps. Whole party of them right there. Go and get that. Serpentine belt, I get some of those in quality now and then. Let's drag this down. There we go. And I do know that there's going to be 2 belts. There was only 1 on the motor. There should have been 2. So we're going to be looking for both of those while we're here. So belt A. OHVI. No, we didn't have that. And there should be a belt B that's coded the same basically. That V8 OHVI. We have some, but they're in poor conditions. Spark plugs I don't have, obviously. Time and chain is a gamble. Do have a fair amount of that stuff. Okay, keep going. There we go, time and chains. No, don't have any of those either. We need a timing cover. Or we don't need it, but we could use an upgraded one if we have one. And we don't have an upgraded one, so let's see, push rods, no. We can check water pumps. I know I don't have the pulleys, but I might have that pulley. We'll just check anyways, I guess. No, we don't have the water pump as far as I can see. And water pump pulley, that's a different one. Usually it's just this water pump pulley, or it's the OHV, but not the I. Oh, we got a K in quality too, but not an I. Well, damn the luck, right? Alright, so we grabbed a few things that we needed out of there. Kind of a wasted trip, but at the same time it saves us a lot of money. Alright, took us a couple minutes to get out of the warehouse there. Alright, so I'd closed the game down, so it cleared out my notes, which is good. So what we got to do now is we need to find all these parts. Now, so there was only 6 on there. I believe 2 were missing, so there should have been a total of 8. We need 7 because we've already got this one good one. And that's the only one I'm going to do a count on to keep the list kind of short. Everything else I kind of know the number of what I need. We're not going to fool with these body parts right now. Definitely need a fuel filter, that's for sure. Distributor. Alright. I'll remember the number of those because I've done it so many times that I kind of got a grasp on it. I'm not going to buy the other serpentine belt to be on the safe side. There's no point in spending money on stuff that you don't really need unless you know for sure. We can always come back in the store and grab it. So, let's go shopping. Now, what I was talking about earlier about parts, this is for this here that I just clicked on, which might take a minute to load. These are body parts for modded vehicles, any kind of mods that you may install into the game. And I get all mine through the Steam Workshop. Okay, and it took it a minute. But as you see, like for instance, this here is for a Model T Ford. This is a fender. No, it's a door. Sorry. I don't know why I got fender out of door, but anyhow. But you can buy those kind of parts here, which is kind of nice. Also too, I'm thinking on the next build, once it ever gets over there. Slow loading today. Alright. And this here is all your hot rod parts. Just as an example, this air filter here, oh, it doesn't show it on this picture. It's hard to read on these little pictures, but it gives you +1, and I believe that's horsepower. No, it's +1%. So it's a little bit of an upgrade. It's kind of like a horsepower upgrade, and there's all kind of different parts here that have a lot of horsepower upgrades, and I've bought a lot of them. And then there's another area. This is kind of like hot rod parts, but it's body parts, you know, and it doesn't give you any increase in like power, but it gives you increase in looks to give it more of that hot rod or whatever kind of look you want to do. And then you have your custom gearboxes here. Everything else is just your plain old straight up basic. So anyhow, let's go get our parts. We're not hot rodding this one. We're gonna stay basic on it. So, well, we're already right here by air. Might as well scroll down and find the trumpet easier. I needed 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Needed 7 of these. Not as much as I thought it was going to cost me. Oh, I was right there by that arm too. I could have just moved my mouse down and clicked on that blue arm right there. Give it a second to load. There we go. That's the one we need. Cam gear for a V8 OHV. Where are you at? Ah, over there. Since the one of the updates and a DLC that I added, it's added these V8 M117s, so it's moved my list around a little bit on me. I kind of got used to places it was at, and that was for Mercedes. The only DLC I currently don't have right now, and this is the beginning of May 2020, the only one I don't have is the Chrysler DLC. I just, not against it, I just hadn't seen the point of me spending the money on it quite yet. I've got plenty to do as it is. Eventually I will get it. I don't know if I'll wait till it's on sale or what I'll do. Mission distributor. Alright, and I know that we need 8 rings. It's an 8-cylinder motor. And obviously 8 pistons to go with that. Rockers are going to need 16. There's 2 to a piston. Gotta make sure you click on the right one. Timing chain, oh, just a standard OHV. 16 of these as well. So we pretty much have all of our parts now. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start assembling this back up. Put it back in part mount. I throw the filter up there, get it out of my hair. this bottom end all put back together. And you see it's got a little bit of a lag now due to the amount of parts that I have in my inventory. It's got to think about them a little bit. It's just like that in the warehouse. That's why I kind of clip out the warehouse loading. It took a couple of minutes just to load the engine side of my warehouse this round. And the funny thing is, the more times you go in the warehouse, the slower and slower it gets. So when I finished part 1, I actually left the game. I completely exited out. And then I came back in to start this episode. Zoomed in on these a little bit where we can see them. Sometimes you can also just use your keyboard to select the parts. We're also putting brand new parts on here, so we can just hit the enter key and just slap it right on there. Still got to use the mouse to screw in the bolts. But if you're, trying to speed build something or tired of clicking the mouse so much, that's another option for you. Alright, let's get the pan on here. Whoa, zoom back out. Sometimes the zooming gets a little annoying. I'm going to go ahead and put the clutch pieces together. In my opinion, real world, you wouldn't be doing this right now, but it lets me, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it and just get it over with. It's not that I can't do it, later. Yeah, we're just going to start throwing all the parts on here. A lot of things, there's no particular order, and there's certain things there are particular orders, so. I think in the real world, if I'm remembering correctly, you don't put the distributor in. I mean the distributor. You don't put that in until you get the cam in, but this will let you do it beforehand. But you're not going to have all the realism in the world, right? Whoop. See, there's that one belt. So that tells me right there we should have bought that second belt. But that's okay, because we can go back and we're just going to buy it. We're not even going to go look in the inventory for it. I want to get this other cap on here. Whoops. Wrong key on the keyboard. So we'll go ahead and start throwing these on here a little bit. That exhaust wasn't right there in the way. Makes it a little bit harder to see. Will apologize a little bit for the lagginess sometimes right there, because it's not that bad on my desktop, but it is on this laptop. And this is a gaming laptop, so things that I could do to improve it would be to, turn my graphics down a little bit, would probably help. It's amazing how little weird things like that can make a big difference like that, but I like seeing the rich detail. A little stubborn in a way, I guess, but Guess it's a good thing they don't make us torque all these bolts like you normally would. That'd be an extra time-consuming project, wouldn't it? I mean, I've done it in real life, but I guess it is what it is. Let's see here. We don't have that one. So what we're going to do is we're going to open our notes. We're going to clear our list out. And what we're going to do is over this, we're going to right-click parts, add to our list. And then what we'll do is we'll just continue our build here. And when we run out of parts, we'll go get those. We'll go get that. We're going to need those plug wires, I think. Anything else I might have forgotten? I'm going to zoom in on these. The glare of the shiny prettiness of the motor is making it hard to see the little ghost image of where these parts are going. I guess it's good that I know what I'm doing here, or kind of. I've built motors in the past when I was younger. Still enjoy it. I have my dad's Bronco that I work on from time to time. I plan on doing more work on it here soon. The old girl's been sitting for about 6 or so years, so had to put a fuel pump on it, and the fuel pump I put on it worked, and then it quit working, so I got to put another pump on it, and it's got 12-year-old gas in it that I'm probably gonna have to drain out, so I got a lot of work ahead of me on that truck. Put that on real quick. Can't see that as well. I got it. A little upgraded part there we found earlier. Find it clicking on that. I was trying to put all the carburetors on first, then put all the air horns. Oops. It'd be nice if these would have been in like a kit where you just put them all on at one time or something. But this is how it's naturally bolted up, so this is just what you do. Oop, no wires, so we need add that to our list. Now let's take a gander at what we got here. Sorry about the coughing. Got a frog in my throat, I guess. So all we needed was the plug wires and that belt. So let's grab our tablet real quick. Wires for a V8. always take a quick last look and make sure it came out and everything's on it. So, with that said, we take the motor off the crate. We'll grab our engine stand again, or engine crane as they call it. Go the wrong side of the car because they didn't get that part right. The cool thing is when we hit install here, it might take it a second, it shows us it's 100%, so that means we got everything on it. We're not missing anything on this. If it didn't say 100%, then we know we were missing something. Usually it's a little clip or something like that. Bear with me a second, please. Alright, sorry about that. I had a frog in my throat. So what we're going to go ahead and do real quick before we end this episode, we're going to go ahead and finish getting the transmission all put together, the back tires back on it, and the exhaust. And then all we'll have left for the next part will be part 3, and it will be our last part, is we'll have the body work to do. I'm getting some definite lag in the game right now. Not sure what's going on. Oh, I bought 2 of them and we only needed 1. Look at that, it's all one piece. So now I'm gonna have a spare one. Oh well, I'll put that in the warehouse after the video is over. There we go. And I'll take a quick gander this direction. Looks like we got everything here. Oh, wait a minute. I know what we need to do. Let's go look this direction. Oh, that's successful engine bay. My fault. We gotta put these 2, actually 3 pieces technically up here. Accessible engine bay. What? Okay, there we go. And I didn't check. Oh, good. It did get repaired. Okay. So all we got left to do on this old girl is some body works. We're going to move this back out onto the shop floor off the lift, and that'll make it a little bit easier to work on. And then when we get done, the white door with the window right there is our paint booth. We'll give her a nice coat of paint and then see what she sells for. So with that being said, folks, this is where it ends. I appreciate you guys showing up, hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I did do a part 1. If you haven't watched that, you're more than welcome to go back and watch that. Part 3, I'm fixing to record either tonight or in the morning, but it will be uploaded at the same time that this one and part 1 is. I'm going to upload all 3 at the same time on YouTube. So feel free to go and check those out. So like, subscribe, and I also do stream over on Twitch a fair amount, but I try to put some content over here on YouTube as well. If you go into the About section of me, my link for my Twitch is over there, along with my Facebook gaming channel. So y'all have a great night. Y'all take care, and I'll see you next time. See ya.